Hello and welcome to Corgi Town, USA. Hi, if you're new here, I'm Candy. Welcome. We are in season 4.
We are. Wow.
Yeah. In my lap is Chuckles, our spokes Corg. He's always glad to greet you. And of course, Kat.
Hi, I'm Catherine. And on the floor running around, possibly destroying equipment, is my boy, Digby.
Yes.
He is playing with his brofer, your darling Mortimer Barnabas.
Yes.
Sitting in the corner is the ever adorable Booger, and somewhere in the living room is Hammer.
Yeah. And Digby's trying to get a date with Booger, and she's very resistant.
That's been a while now.
Well, we're here for you every Thursday. If you like this video or this audio podcast, please like and subscribe. We need your likes and subscriptions. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebooks, all the social media calls at Corgi Town, USA. Thank you so much for joining us.
Indeed.
We have a segment called our Creators Series, and we have a very special honored guest today who is in a stormy part of the country.
Right.
So we may lose her due to storms. If we do, we'll come right back. Thanks for joining us and rolling with it. We often lose equipment because we have Zoomy Corgis in the studio. So if you're not new here, you've seen it happen. We do come right back. So we have Vanessa Keys. Should we bring her on?
Absolutely. Let's get Vanessa on.
Vanessa, welcome. Hi. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thank you. Tell us a little bit first about your business and what you do. You're an artist.
So yes, I'm an artist, and I've actually done tons of different kinds of art. And it started a long time ago. When I was 8 years old, I did my first oil painting. My brother-in-law and my sister had lost their labs, both of their labs, Flynn and Sable. And my dad happened to be an artist too. And so he gave me his oil paints and said, hey, make something for him. And I painted a little scene for my sister. And that was my first, like, ooh, I like doing art. I like making things to make people feel better. And so I was kind of young. And then from there, that was what I was good at. If I wanted a good grade in anything, I was like, does that come with an art project? Because I could do that.
Yeah. Wow.
So.
I love it. And so tell us, is that how you got kind of started with your love of pets?
So I've always had a pet. I've never had like a point in my life where I haven't been surrounded by animals. At one point we had some exotic animals, but yeah, my love of animals was from birth on. One of my favorite things when I knew I really, really had bonded with saving animals and doing that is I grew up in the foot of the Blue Mountains, which is in northeastern Oregon. Beautiful mountains. And every summer we would ride our horses up to this little cabin that my dad built. And we would ride our horses up there.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. We'd pick up like rubber boa snakes and take them along. And out of the blue came this little, I'm thinking now he was probably English setter mix, just ran out. And I fell in love with him. He was just darling. And he came with us up the mountains and we'd tell him, stay. And at one point I had him on my little horse and we went up the mountains, and in this little area where my dad had built a cabin, my grandfather also had a cabin, and there was an outhouse and everything. And so my little dog, I named him Sparky. My mom said, we can't keep him. He's somebody's dog. And I'm like, okay, this is breaking my heart. And she was like, no, we can't keep him. But if he's here in the morning, we'll take him with us. So I took him out and hid him in the outhouse. He was there in the morning. So that was my first love. And he turned out to be just a really fun dog. And so that's kind of where everything started, and it just progressed. I saved all sorts of animals.
Aww.
All the time. So in college, I had an old English sheepdog that I couldn't believe someone had got him from the pound.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
That is adorable. I love the hiding the dog in the outhouse story.
Well,
I
have to be
have to say,
creative if you want something.
yeah, I have to say, I have a similar story. So,
Yeah?
when my late husband and I were visiting my in-laws a number of years ago, there was a little black cat outside, and the black cat had been abandoned by the neighbors. I won't even go into it, and so we kind of convinced my in-laws that they had to take the cat in. However, they were going to Florida. It was cold. It was raining. It was December. They said if the cat was there when they got back. P.S. We made sure that the cat was there because I had my sister-in-law feed the cat, come by and feed the cat. And every night before Barry and I went to bed, we would let the cat in the house. There was this storage room that was half of the garage. And we would let the cat in the house so she would stay. The end of the story is Mom and Dad adopted Boo. Boo remains with my mother-in-law. My father-in-law passed away a year and a half ago. And Boo remains with my mother-in-law and is a constant source of just joy and comfort to her.
Oh,
That is awesome.
We hid the cat in my in-laws' house. And we were in our 50s, so
Yeah. Well, you got to do it. You got to do it sometimes.
I feel you. I'm right there with you.
That's too cute. Well, Vanessa, tell us how you. So we are pet and dog centric here, but we're also Corgi Town, USA. Yeah. So tell us how you fell in love with corgis. How did that get started?
So I've always loved corgis. I loved every picture of the Queen in her childhood with her corgi, and I just always loved them. But for a long time, as you know, they weren't super popular. You couldn't just find a corgi anywhere. And one time, I guess it's probably been 20 plus years. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but 20 plus years. My niece said, "Hey, I found some corgis. Would you like one?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Yes, I want one." And this was up in the Pendleton, Oregon area. Yes, I want one. And so next thing I know, here we are with this little corgi. At the time, I was the director of a children's program here in Brookings, and they showed up with this corgi, and chaos broke out, of course. And we just fell in love. We named her Charlie. And that is where it all started because they're just so hysterical. They are the funniest breed, like comedians.
Yes.
I love them.
Yeah, we agree, and we've actually had trainers on that say the same thing. They say corgis are hilarious. That's like Mortimer. I think Mortimer is my most hilarious corgi.
Oh yes, indeed.
He's like bossy and
they
loud.
all have different personalities. Yeah, totally. Yeah. I was laughing because I just saw that Bill Engvall got a corgi, and I'm like, be prepared to be upstage, Bill Engvall, because corgis are funny.
The paparazzi is real.
Yep.
Yes, totally.
Real.
we talk about that. It's I have some friends that the first time they travel with me, because we travel to the corgi events, and I have a DM corgi. Hammer has degenerative myelopathy, so it can be challenging traveling with him, but occasionally I do travel with everybody. And Chuckles, what are you doing? Chuckles just knocking stuff off the table, lose equipment.
Time.
He says, "Hey, it's my moment, Mom. Let me up."
Yeah, but, let me shine. Hi, buddy.
Yeah, he is a conquistador after all.
Yeah.
So, but my friends, that have traveled with me for the first time say, "How do you go anywhere? The people just go crazy over corgis. You get surrounded." Yes, we call that the paparazzi. Yep. And us corgi parents are very comfortable with it, and we're very familiar with it.
Yes. and so are the corgis. I told the story on another episode last year. My fiance and I went up to Jerome, Arizona, and we took the dogs, and my adopted son puppy is an Australian cattle dog, and cattle dog upstaged the corgi, and little Mr. Corgi over here was none too happy.
I bet. Yeah, I bet that's pretty offensive.
Yeah. Digby didn't want to share the limelight.
No,
I know.
It's really funny because the other thing that I've noticed when we travel with our dogs is you assume you know everybody if they have a corgi. I'm pretty sure I know them, which is kind of a funny thing.
Yeah.
I don't know everybody.
Well, it's instant friends, you know, Corgi Nation.
Absolutely.
We're instant friends, and we're always glad
Totally.
to make friends and have the meetups. And yeah,
Yeah.
you have to love
I
it.
got to meet Franklin, who
Oh,
is
did you?
Yep, got to
Yeah.
meet Franklin, and that was, you know, he's a DM warrior, and
Yep.
it was lovely to meet his mom and his grandma and his brother. So it was kind of fun just to meet up with them down at the beach.
Yeah, we always love to meet the corgis that we follow when we follow
Right.
each other and go to the meetups, and it's always fun. And sometimes you follow each other like on Instagram and you don't know until you meet. We ran into that at the last Corgi Beach Day where we were starting to meet. Say, oh, you look familiar. Oh, you're Corgi Town, USA. We know you, and we know Chuckles, and
Yes.
so I love
Yeah,
this, just the
that's fun.
synergy that happens.
The community.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
Digby is a local celebrity.
He is.
People will say, "Hey, we saw Digby. We saw Digby out. Oh, was he up walking the mountain with Cat? Yeah, yeah. Or we saw him at the coffee shop, or just
That's right.
different places you
Yeah.
go." And
Well, it's darling.
so, Vanessa, tell us. So, since you're a creator and you make
Yep.
art, what inspired you to combine your love of corgis and your love of art? How did you get started with that?
So I was doing it already. But about 12 years ago, a little corgi named Andy got lost, and there was a huge search for Andy. And one night they decided they were going to have like a vigil, a candle lighting, and everybody was going to think about finding Andy. And as we did this, I started painting. And I painted a picture. It actually was one of my very first ones that I reproduced, and I just painted a picture of Andy, and he was in a little sailboat, and I was trying to get him to come home, and that's kind of how it started. And then from there, I put that out there, and then it kind of ballooned. I've always used a lot of different art media. It's like one of the things that I like the most is when I can take clay or my paint and just go to the thrift store and find something and think, I could do this with that. So I repurpose things. And so it kind of blossomed from Andy. And then Lear's Fire, we do in honor of another corgi that had DM. And my friend Carol.
They read the names of those passing the bridge. They do the reading of the names. Yeah.
Definitely.
And for those that don't know.
Started. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how it started, is just to be honest with you, to see people struggle with the sadness of their loss. And it's like, okay, what could I do to maybe bring a little like cheer to their lives, or at least let them know that their loved ones, their pets, are always around them. Yeah. Even if it's just in their hearts. And so that's when I transitioned into making like my little sculptures of little corgi angels that I call flutterbys. And from there, that's basically ended up making memorials. And so it kind of blossomed from there.
You did one for Mr. Pickles, correct?
I did. I was going to tell you that. So when Kelly McLemore lost Mr. Pickles, a group of people, and that's another thing that I love about Corgi Nation, is a group of people that love her and loved Mr. Pickles got together and said, hey, we want to commission you. Just do whatever you want. You know, this is kind of the stuff that she likes. And so then what I do is I pull pictures off the internet, or just like I had known of the beach day, what is this? North Cal.
SoCal.
Yeah. And so then they're like, go for it, do whatever you want. And the first things I saw was that red VW van, and then Mr. Pickles, of course, and his sweet little Hawaiian shirts.
Yep.
And so I was able to make like a van with all the different, we had Jojo the surfing corgi on there, Mr. Pickles, his sidekicks, and it just was a fun piece. And I hope, and talking to Kelly, I know that piece gave her great joy, but
Yes.
the other joy is that all those people came together
Yeah.
to say, we love you. We love Mr. Pickles.
You did not get to meet Mr. Pickles, right?
No, I didn't.
So
I don't do the beach thing. I don't travel in that way. I should.
Sure.
I just never have time.
Yeah.
Yes, it does take time. But we wanted, so for I think most of our audience knows that Mr. Pickles was the spokesclerk for SoCal Corgi Beach Day. But for those who don't, this is the famed Mr. Pickles we're talking about. And I've had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Pickles, and Chuckles has met Mr. Pickles, and so has Mortimer. And so it was fun getting to meet the celebrity and getting to know Mr. Pickles. And he was really a sweet and special guy. And so glad that I got to know him. And they had unveiled the biggest, I think it's the biggest Corgi statue in North America, and it was of Mr. Pickles' likeness. They had an artist there locally that made it, but they unveiled the big Mr. Pickles statue. I have a picture of Chuckles with him. It's very cute, but I love that what you've done there, and that's just precious. And I am with you on that. The way that everybody comes together like that, we are a very supportive community, because we know we all know collectively how important these precious little souls are to us.
They're very
life-changing.
Life-changing.
Yes.
And I think that it's always good to have a base group of people that positively say, hey, we know what you're going through. You were there for you, and just put a little more positive light on what is the darkest. I mean, for a lot of people, that is one of the darkest moments of their life, is when they lose their pet. And so, yeah, it's nice to have that kind of base community going, nope, let's get you through this.
Yeah. So what, as kind of earmarking on that, or building on that, what is the most fulfilling, what do you get the most fulfillment of in what you do?
Well, I would have to say the memorial pieces, though it does take a little toll. Sometimes it's too sad to even, I'm like, nope, I got to step back for a minute. I'm going to step back and do it later. But yeah, the memorial pieces, I've done some really fun pieces throughout my life. I used to make full-size Father Christmases, like human-size Father Christmases with my sculpting.
Wow.
And
how long does that take you? How long does that take you?
Oh, weeks. It took me weeks and weeks. And then I loved making the Mr. Pickles van. I got to go down to Florida for the Florida Corgi picnic, and they always auction off one of my pieces for a fundraiser for Corgi Aid. And pardon me?
Oh, we said, we know Corgi Aid.
Yeah. And so one year they were at Lake Pismo Beach, and all I could think of is, well, I have to make a rocket ship. So I made this rocket ship, and I kind of had to go way outside the box, because really I wanted it to be spectacular. And so I did a rocket and I painted it, but then I took tubes and put all of these Corgis off with the little helmets on, and they were floating around. And then the final thing was a little I Dream of Jeannie Corgi, because there they were at, Cape Canaveral and Cocoa Beach and all that. So I had to do that. But then I think also I had a book that I illustrated a long, long time ago, like early 2000. And it actually made it to the White House and was under the Christmas tree at the White House. And I got a nice letter from Laura Bush. And it was pretty fun. Yeah, pretty fun to go, my stuff's at the White House.
So great. That is. That's amazing. Well, and I'm going to go off cuff a little bit here. I would like to ask, what does your process look like? So obviously you get inspiration. You get inspiration from very important VICs, very important Corgis, very important dogs.
Right.
And what does your process look like? So you have the concept of what you want to create into the actual creation. Can you explain that a little bit?
So when I get an order, so someone just this morning said, hey, we'd like to commission a piece from you, and it's someone very special to me. And I usually say, okay, let me go look and see if we're friends, if we're connected that way, or if you need to send me pictures. And a lot of the times we are. already connected. And so then my process is I look at the pictures, I print the pictures out, and I just cover my whole wall in my studio with their pictures. And I kind of try to feel them. I try to feel the Corgis, spirit, if you would. By looking at the pictures, you can see which ones were ornery. You can see which ones were just silly. You can see which ones were just dear through their little pictures and their eyes. And then I start with this. This is my clay.
Oh, wow.
So for those listening, not viewing on YouTube, Vanessa's showing us a little block of clay. It's literally just a little box size block that she starts with.
Yeah. And so that's the first process. And then like for my bigger pieces where I want it to be something over the top special, I go and I start looking at our thrift stores, or you can see behind me, I have a bunch of stuff that over the years I've picked up because I'm like, I could do something with this. I want to do something with this and repurpose it and make it something special. And then there's been times where I'll go 3 or 4 days and not be able to hit on that thing that makes that special to the receiver.
Sure.
And that's hard because I always want, if somebody orders something, I want to have it in a timely manner. And so then after I kind of hit on that, I start sculpting. And the process is sculpting. I bake them at home. It's a low fire clay that I can do right in my oven. And then from there, I kind of bring all the pieces together that I think I might use. And there's a lot of things that I end up not using. But there's one right behind me, and I'll show you. This one hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Okay.
So
we're getting a sneak peek.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you describe that piece for those listening and not viewing?
Absolutely. So this lady lives on the coast, and she lost a very dear Corgi, one of her heart Corgis. And we actually haven't shipped it to her because it might be too emotional right now. Yeah. So I went through and I thought, what would I want? So I put a lighthouse in the background. I painted it using acrylic paint. And then, of course, I'm right here on the Oregon coast, so I have access to little bits of driftwood. So I have driftwood, and then I do the sculpture. And I always liked, we talk about the Rainbow Bridge. That's another, happy thing to think about, is that they're not gone from us. They've just crossed over, and that, they're still around. So I always try to put a rainbow in my memorials and that sort of thing. So there's a little bit of a rainbow. The sun's breaking through a little bit. And so it's just kind of, I'm just trying to take away a little bit of that, ease the pain. Ooh, who wants to talk?
Yeah, welcome to the Corgi Town USA podcast, where we have random borks from time to time.
Mine, I banished mine to the other end of the house because I knew it would be just my phone flying off, or it's like, sorry guys.
That's our show in a nutshell.
That's it.
Oh, good,
and I'm sure they're none too happy about it. None too happy
they're
about
not.
being edited.
Yeah. And I will pay later. I will pay dearly later.
Oh yeah. So it's interesting. You pulled a block of clay out. It was Michelangelo who said, and I'm sure you feel the same way. For me, I see the block of clay. I'm not an artist, and I'm like, I couldn't even begin to think how to get something out. And Michelangelo said, I just look at the marble. You look at the block of clay, and it's in there. I just have to release it.
And that's so true. And I am in no way comparing myself to Michelangelo, but it is true. There are pieces that I will sculpt, and I do look, because each Corgi is different, each dog, each human is different. They're their own thing. But I wait too, because I'll sculpt it, and then all of a sudden I can see, oh, this is where its eyes are, or okay, look how that, because it just starts talking to you, and it really does. Sometimes I have to walk away the clay that I use, it actually 24 hours later after I've painted a piece. So here's another little piece that I'm working on. And it's a Flutterby Corgi. And so this person has lost their little Corgi. And so I sculpt their Corgi, look at the picture, but I'll walk away from it for a while because overnight the paint pulls into the clay and changes it completely.
Oh, wow.
So if I don't like it the day before, I need to stop and walk away and then come back and see if I need to adjust or see if it actually was done.
Refresh the process.
It's kind of funny.
Refresh it.
And I'm not super patient. Yeah, it's funny because I feel like every little bit of like, my big goal as an artist is to pull that essence of their animals and put it into my work so that when they get it, I get a lot of people that say, I just got a box from you. I have to leave it for 3 or 4 days. I know what's in there, but I just can't open it now. And then 3 or 4 days later, they're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, because it is them, which is it's great to hear. Kind of freaks me out a little bit. Sometimes I'm a little overwhelmed by that people are like, no, this is great.
Yeah. I'm sure it's overwhelming, but keep in mind that you are definitely, this is so important to them and they're never going to forget it. So what you do is very instrumental in healing. And I think that says a lot.
Yes, indeed.
And this is a
and I think that's the gift. That's the gift that's the thing that I always have to remember. Take a step back and remember that maybe this is making someone's heart a little bit lighter,
Indeed.
So.
And they have something to remember their precious by forever.
Yeah.
So
totally.
this is a loaded question, but do you have a favorite? I'm sure you have, they are all special places in your heart, but if you're just to ask the question in shorthand, do you have a favorite piece that you've created?
Yeah, I actually probably do. I loved the VW van for Kelly. I loved it. But one of my favorite ones is one that probably didn't get seen very much. But I had gone to the thrift store and found this old candelabra, and it was like offset. So, here's the base, it's black, and it kind of swung up, maybe up towards the right. And on each of the candles were these lilies. Like it was kind of creepy. And I'm like, dang, I like that. I like that. So then I took and I sculpted, I think there were probably 6 of them, 5 or 6 little corgis. And I had some little silver bat wings. And so I sculpted them and I put them all around this candelabra. And so they were little corgis flying around this kind of creepy candelabra. And I like that one.
Well, that sounds precious.
Yeah, it does. It sounds fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, we will.
And then another one that I loved is the Philadelphia Corgi Picnic. They were having a big, I think their 10-year celebration. And so I actually sculpted a Benjamin Franklin Corgi, the Liberty Bell, and like this whole group of these little corgis going to like Philly. And that was kind of fun too.
Oh, how precious.
The founding corgs.
The founding corgs, totally. Exactly.
Yeah, the little key and a little kite.
That is adorable. Well, thank you for sharing that with us. And we're also going to share some links if you're watching on YouTube down in the description box of where you can follow Vanessa if you don't already, and where you can actually commission her art or contact her if you want a piece made, more memorial pieces or otherwise. But for our listeners, Vanessa, please tell us where we can contact you or where to look for some of your works.
So right now, I do a lot on Facebook. I might be transitioning from that. The changes are making me crazy. And, but I have a site called, it's Zebits. And I'm also going to be setting up a actual web page and an Etsy account because I need to be able to put my items up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And
indeed.
so if you look Vanessa Keys at Zebits, and I wanted to remember how to spell it, and it's .org.
So like Z-Bits, like Z zebra, ZBITS, you think?
No, I think it's ZHI. Or
ZHI.
ZHBITS.
Okay. But for now, you can go to Facebook, Vanessa
Yeah.
Keys.
And
Yeah.
just look at Vanessa Keys, or even Vanessa Keys Corgis by the Sea Art More. That's my other handle, is Corgis by the Sea.
Corgis by the Sea, and it's Vanessa Keys, Keys, for those listening. And
Correct.
we will drop those links down in the description box. Meanwhile, Vanessa, we're going to let you get back to your art and your craft that you're so
Awesome.
good at. But we appreciate you so much coming into our show and telling us about your process and your favorite pieces and sharing with us some of your creations.
Yes.
Well, thank
indeed.
you for having me.
Yes, thank you. Have a great rest of your weekend, and you better pay up with some Treatos for those
Yes,
corgis that have
indeed.
been.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have the peanut butter snacks all ready to go.
Excellent.
Well, don't wait any longer on that. We know we would be in trouble.
Yes,
So.
good mama.
I
Good
wouldn't
mama
want to be
indeed.
dragged down.
Well, have a great rest of your evening. Thank you so much.
You too. Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Those little corgis by the sea, so precious.
Yes, indeed.
Did you see the Mr. Pickles that she did with
Yes.
the van? I mean, it's so cute, and she really does capture essences. Like, I've seen a lot of her creations on the page, and just tickled to death, just preciousness. And knowing corgis, I think being an artist and knowing their proclivities and their personalities and their just the way they are, I think really helps because you are able to capture that just visually.
And get that into the piece, and
Mhm.
always, always be able to look at that piece and have that memory. That beautiful, beautiful memory.
Brings back some things.
Yes,
I
indeed.
love it. Well, definitely click the links down in the description box. Go to Corgis by the Sea, visit Vanessa Keys on Facebook. She should have some links there if you want to commission a piece and just to go and click around on the page and see some of these awesome creations if you're not familiar with them. Meanwhile, if you like this video or this audio podcast, please like and subscribe. Please check out our website, www.corgitownusa.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Corgitown USA. We try to bring you relevant content, and every Thursday we have a podcast for pets and their people, different things about Corgi lifestyle. This is our creator series. We are now in season 4.
Indeed.
Yes. And so it's also health of the breed and traveling with your pet and lifestyle. We also have some medical professionals. We bring on some veterinarians from time to time and vet techs. Try to bring you relevant content, everything that helps enrich our lives with our precious pets.
And they are precious.
Indeed. So I'm Candy.
I'm Catherine.
Chuckles, Digby, Mortimer, Booger, Hammer. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Bye.